You know the snow will slowly melt, but my love will never die.
2 Nova Scotia children are still missing. Here's a timeline of the case. Lily Sullivan, 6, and Jack Sullivan, 4, disappeared on May 2. It's been nearly a month since 2 young children vanished without a trace in rural Nova Scotia. Here's a look back at what's happened since they disappeared. Friday, May 2, around 10 a.m., 6-year-old Lily Sullivan and 4-year-old Jack Sullivan are reported missing from their home on Gairloch Road in Lansdowne Station, roughly 25 kilometers southwest of New Glasgow. The children's stepfather, Daniel Martel, told CBC News the siblings had been kept home from school that day, and the previous day, because Lily had a cough. There was no school on that Wednesday because it was a professional development day for teachers. Martel said while he and their mother, Malahia Brooks Murray, were in the bedroom with their 1-year-old daughter, Lily came in and out several times, and Jack could be heard in the kitchen. Shortly after, they could not hear the children. Martel said he believes the children opened the sliding back door, which he said is nearly silent, and went outside. The home borders a heavily wooded area with steep banks and thick brush. At 12:25 p.m., RCMP issue a news release notifying the public about the missing children and asking anyone with information to come forward. Police say they believe the children wandered away from their home, and there was no evidence of abduction. At 4:55 p.m., the Mounties issue an update, saying the search is ongoing and asking the public to stay away from the area. The news release says a vulnerable missing persons advisory was issued for Pictou County earlier that day. Saturday, May 3. Volunteers search through the night. More than 100 people are involved in the search, which includes ground search and rescue, dog services, drones and helicopters. Officials remain optimistic the children will be found. At 5:26 p.m., Nova Scotia RCMP issue a wider missing persons alert to Pictou, Colchester, and Antigonish counties. The children's mother speaks to CTV News, saying she is staying hopeful. Sunday, May 4, as the search continues for the missing children, their stepfather says he wants authorities to monitor the New Brunswick border and nearby airports in case the children were abducted. RCMP Staff Sergeant Curtis McKinnon says 160 searchers are out looking for the children, despite challenging conditions due to heavy rain. Monday, May 5, police and rescue agencies continue to search for the children 24/7. Nova Scotia RCMP told CBC News searchers located what could have been a footprint on Saturday, and expanded the search effort in that area. 4 drones with thermal imaging technology are used at night to look for heat signatures in the woods. Tuesday, May 6, 5 days since the children were reported missing, a Nova Scotia RCMP spokesperson says the case remains a missing persons investigation. The children's stepfather tells CBC News that after their disappearance, the children's mother left the area to be with her family in another part of the province and blocked him on social media. He said there was an argument between the 2 families out in the yard of the home that day. The children's maternal grandmother speaks to the Canadian press in a brief phone interview. Cindy Murray says the family is hoping and praying for the children to come home. She also says police advised the family against speaking to the media. Wednesday, May 7. At 2 p.m., Nova Scotia RCMP announced the search for the missing kids is being scaled back. Staff Sergeant Curtis McKinnon says there hasn't been any confirmed sightings of the children and it is unlikely they are alive. He says searchers have covered a heavily wooded 4 square kilometer area roughly the size of Halifax's downtown and teams will be returning to areas previously searched. The children's stepfather tells CBC News he's exhausted. Thursday, May 8. The Nova Scotia RCMP pack up their command center in Lansdowne Station and most searchers leave the area. The children's stepfather tells CBC News that he spoke with investigators from the Major Crime Unit at the Stellarton RCMP detachment earlier in the week. He says he willingly handed over his phone to police and investigators have searched the home. Martel says he has also asked for a polygraph test, but RCMP declined to say whether a polygraph would be administered. An RCMP underwater team searches bodies of water in the Lansdowne Station area. Meanwhile, a makeshift memorial is taking shape at the nearby Stellarton RCMP detachment, where community members are laying stuffed animals and flowers. Friday, May 9 to Monday, May 12. On May 9, An RCMP underwater team continues to search bodies of water in the Lansdowne Station area. On May 12, a supportive community drop-in event is held by Nova Scotia Health at West River Fire Hall. According to Nova Scotia Health, 17 families attend the event, where Schools Plus facilitators lead child-friendly activities, and crisis, outreach and health promotion staff are on hand to offer support and resource navigation. At 3:04 p.m., RCMP issue a news release correcting the spelling of Lily's name. The agency had previously been spelling her name as Lily. Tuesday, May 13. The children have now been missing for 12 days. At 12:54 p.m., Nova Scotia RCMP issue a release saying they are continuing to investigate the case. Police say they are following up on more than 180 tips from the public and have identified 35 people to conduct formal interviews with. Those people include community members and those closest to the family. Police also confirmed that an underwater recovery team searched lakes around Lansdowne Station on May 8 and 9, but did not uncover any evidence. Wednesday, May 14. No update is provided on the case. Thursday, May 15. Nova Scotia RCMP confirm again there has been no evidence to suggest the children were abducted. Friday, May 16. It has now been 2 weeks since the children were reported missing. Kevin McLean of Colchester Ground Search and Rescue says in an interview the search will resume Saturday at Lansdowne Station with volunteers from multiple search and rescue teams. In a news release Friday evening, RCMP said the search will focus on specific areas around Gairloch Road. The Sullivan home is on this road. Saturday, May 17. A search resumed in Lansdowne Station with over 100 searchers scouring areas already covered and expanding into new areas. This will continue into Sunday. In an interview, stepdad Daniel Martel said he hoped for a positive outcome and that the search teams would find something. Sunday, May 18, around 115 people participated in Sunday's search, which was expected to wrap up around 8 p.m. Amy Hansen, one of the search managers, did not expect the ground search to continue Monday. "We're not anticipating continuing tomorrow, but that's a conversation that has to happen with the RCMP incident commander later on in the day," she said. On Sunday evening, the RCMP confirmed the ground search was ending, for now. In a media release, RCMP said investigators and search managers were reviewing and assessing the weekend search to determine their next steps. Stepdad of missing NS kids says he hopes something positive will come from renewed search. Tuesday, May 20th. Melissa Scott, who lives in the community of Glengarry Station, near the children's home, is visited by 2 officers from the RCMP's Major Crime Unit asking her for footage from her 7 trail cameras scattered around her 16-hectare property. She was initially asked to give them her footage from May 1 to May 3, but they later expanded their request to include April 27 to May 3. Scott compiles the footage and hands it over to RCMP on May 22. Wednesday, May 28. RCMP issue a news release confirming the children were seen in public with family members on the afternoon of May 1, the day before the disappearance. The Mounties also ask anyone who has dashcam footage or video along Gairloch Road between 12 p.m. on April 28 and 12 p.m. on May 2 to contact them. Friday, May 30. Daniel Martel, the children's stepfather, says he has not lost hope the children will be found. "Every day when I wake up, it feels like I'm reliving a nightmare," said Martel in an interview Friday in Lansdowne Station, nearly 1 month after the children went missing. RCMP issue a news release that said ground search and rescue crews and police would return to the area over the weekend. The release says the focus will be on specific areas around Gairloch Road and a nearby pipeline trail, where a boot print was previously located. Saturday, May 31. About 75 volunteers resume the search scouring the area where a boot print was found in a previous search. Amy Hansen of Colchester Ground Search and Rescue says there is no way of knowing if the boot print is even related to the missing children, but she says it is all they have to go on. 3 drones are helping with the search, but poor weather conditions mean that helicopters haven't been able to assist. Sunday, June 1, on the second day of the weekend search, Amy Hansen of Colchester Ground Search and Rescue says searchers are beginning to wear out mentally and physically. She says nothing new was found in the previous day's search. Hansen expects the search to be suspended on Sunday evening, barring new information. "It's getting to the point where maybe they need a little bit of time to recover and deal with the stress and issues like that," and spend time with their own families that they're leaving behind to be out here, she said. 37 days 899 hours, 53,983 minutes 323,9008 seconds. Names: Lily Sullivan, age 6, Jack Sullivan, age 4. Residents: both children live with their mother, Malahia Brooks Murray, and stepfather, Daniel Martel, on Gairloch Road in Lansdowne Station, Pictou County, Nova Scotia. Disappearance: 6-year-old Lily Sullivan and her 4-year-old brother, Jack, were reported missing around 10 a.m. on May 2, 2025, from their home on Gairloch Road in Lansdowne Station, located approximately 30 kilometers from New Glasgow, Nova Scotia. According to their mother, Malahia Brooks Murray, she woke that morning to the sound of the children playing in the next room. She briefly fell back asleep, but upon waking again and discovering they were no longer in the house, she immediately called 911. Missing children: siblings Lily 6 and Jack 4 have been missing in rural Canada since May 2, 2025. Disappearance of Jack and Lily Sullivan from Pictou County, NS. 6-year-old Lily Sullivan and her 4-year-old brother, Jack, were reported missing around 10 a.m. on May 2, 2025, from their home on Gairloch Road in Lansdowne Station, located approximately 30 kilometers from New Glasgow, Nova Scotia. According to their mother, Malahia Brooks Murray, she woke that morning to the sound of the children playing in the next room. She briefly fell back asleep, but upon waking again and discovering they were no longer in the house, she immediately called 911. Their stepfather, Daniel Martel, has been deeply involved in the search efforts. He described Lily and Jack as awesome kids, noting Jack's love for bugs and dinosaurs, and how Lily, while fond of girly things, often followed her brother's lead. "They're like best friends, not just brother and sister," he said. Malahia Brooks Murray moved to Daniel Martel's home 2 years ago and is a stay-at-home mom. Daniel works at a local sawmill, but work has slowed down there in recent weeks and he was not at work on Friday. Malahia Brooks Murray family members have raised concerns about the possibility of abduction and have urged authorities to expand the search beyond the immediate area to include provincial borders and transportation hubs. Martel also noted that certain items found during the search, such as clothing and a water bottle, did not belong to either child. Lily and Jack are members of the Sipekneekatik First Nation. In response to the case, Chief Michelle Glasgow publicly questioned the decision not to issue an Amber Alert and called for establishing a national alert system tailored to better respond to such emergencies. Timeline: disappearance of Lily and Jack Sullivan. The kids did not attend school that week since Tuesday. They were kept home because Lily had a cough. Tuesday, April 29, 2025. The bus driver dropped them off at home after school on Tuesday. Source: Wednesday, April 30, 2025. The province had no school on Wednesday due to the Professional Development Day across all schools and public institutions in Nova Scotia. Source: Thursday, May 1, 2025. Afternoon, Lily and Jack were seen in public with family members on May 1, 2025 in the afternoon, near Lansdowne Station. This is currently the last verified sighting. Friday, May 2, 2025. 10 a.m., 6-year-old Lily Sullivan and 4-year-old Jack Sullivan are reported missing from their rural home on Gairloch Road in Lansdowne Station, Pictou County, about 30 kilometers from New Glasgow, Nova Scotia. The children were last seen playing in the yard. Mom's statement: "They were outside playing, but we weren't aware of it at the time, and the next thing we knew it was quiet." Mother's interview and source: 11 a.m., following their disappearance, a vulnerable missing persons advisory was issued in Pictou County. The Pictou County District RCMP is seeking public assistance in locating 6-year-old Lily Sullivan and 4-year-old Jack Sullivan. They were last seen this morning, May 2, on Gairloch Road in Lansdowne Station, Pictou County. Lily Sullivan has shoulder-length light brown hair with bangs and may be wearing a pink sweater, pink pants, and pink boots. Jack Sullivan has short blondish hair and was last seen wearing blue dinosaur boots. Further clothing details are unavailable. The RCMP requests that the public share this information responsibly through social media. Anyone with information regarding the whereabouts of Lily Sullivan and Jack Sullivan is asked to contact the Pictou County District RCMP at 902-485-4333. Those wishing to remain anonymous can contact Nova Scotia Crime Stoppers toll-free at 1-800-222-TIPS 8477. Submit a secure web tip at crimestoppers.ns.ca, or use the P3 Tips app file hashtag 2025 to 580,096 source. 4:55 p.m. Official update. The search for missing children Lily and Jack Sullivan is ongoing in Pictou County since just after 10 a.m. This morning, May 2nd, a search has been underway for two children who are believed to have wandered from a home on Gairloch Road in Lansdowne Station, Pictou County. There is a multi-agency response currently on the ground in Pictou County. It includes resources from ground search and rescue teams from around the province who are collaborating to ensure resources and teams are available on an ongoing basis. Other resources and teams include the Civil Air Search and Rescue Association, CSRA, Department of Natural Resources Air Services, and several RCMP units, including RCMP Police Dog Services, RCMP Remotely Piloted Aircraft Systems, drones, operators, and others. Additionally, the RCMP issued a vulnerable missing person alert for Pictou County. Police and others involved in the search appreciate the ongoing community support across the province related to this missing person investigation. We ask, however, that the public avoid the search area to allow trained searchers to do their work. The child's family has been kept updated on the search efforts. Anyone with information on the whereabouts of Lily and Jack Sullivan is asked to contact Pictou County District RCMP at 902-485-4333. To remain anonymous, call Nova Scotia Crime Stoppers, toll-free, at 1-800-222-TIPS 8477. Submit a secure web tip at www.crimestoppers.ns.ca, or use the P3 Tips app file hashtag 2025 to 583,775 source. 5:27 p.m. A broadcast intrusive alert was issued extending to Antigonish, Colchester, and Pictou counties. Source: RCMP and emergency responders begin search efforts immediately, deploying ground crews and air support. 6 p.m. The coordinated response includes ground search and rescue teams from across Nova Scotia. Additional support is being provided by the Civil Air Search and Rescue Association, CSRA, Department of Natural Resources Air Services, and various RCMP units, including Police Dog Services and Remotely Piloted Aircraft Systems, RPAS, operators. The RCMP has also issued a vulnerable missing person alert for Pictou County. Authorities acknowledge and appreciate the widespread community support. However, the public is urged to avoid the area to allow trained personnel to conduct their operations effectively. The family is being regularly briefed on the progress of the search. Source: by the end of the day Friday, tensions escalated between family members following the disappearance of Lily and Jack Sullivan. Some relatives from the children's mother's side accused their stepfather, Daniel Martel, of being involved. Martel stated that after the children vanished, their mother left to stay with her family elsewhere in the province and has since blocked him on social media. There was an argument in the yard that day, Martel said. My mother had to kick some people off the property because they were accusing me of being involved when I'm the only one still here fighting for them. It's sad. May 3, 2025, 7:57 a.m. Update. While it is tempting to help by searching, it is strongly discouraged because it contaminates the search area with scent and broken branches, debris, etc. There are search dogs following scent, drones above looking for heat signatures, and every person who enters the space will send responding GSAR members to you and not the missing persons. Searching is very methodical based on science and math and done in specific patterns. Please do not enter the search area. If you live near and check your own sheds, that is very different from entering the woods in known search environments. 4 p.m. An emergency alert has been issued for Pictou, Antigonish, and Colchester counties regarding missing vulnerable children, Lily and Jack Sullivan, last seen on May 2 in Lansdowne Station, Nova Scotia. The Nova Scotia RCMP is seeking public assistance to locate 6-year-old Lily, who has shoulder-length light brown hair with bangs and may be wearing a pink sweater, pink pants, and pink boots, and 4-year-old Jack, who has short blondish hair and is wearing blue dinosaur boots. Anyone with information is urged to call police or Crime Stoppers. Source: a massive multi-agency search is launched. Over 160 trained searchers join, including RCMP, volunteer ground search and rescue teams, police dogs, drones, and helicopters. Infrared technology is used to sweep the forested terrain surrounding the home. The search area expands to approximately 4 square kilometers. Malahia Brooks-Murray and Daniel Martel attended a briefing at the search and rescue headquarters on Lansdowne Station Road. According to Martel, Malahia Brooks-Murray left in the middle of the briefing and was sitting in the back of an ambulance. She then left the area with her mother, and Martel stated that he has not seen or heard from her since. He says she cut off all contact with him following this. Source: 6:59 p.m. Official update: search efforts are ongoing in Pictou County for missing 6-year-old Lily Sullivan and 4-year-old Jack Sullivan, who were reported missing yesterday, May 2, at approximately 10 a.m. It's believed the children wandered away from a home on Gairloch Road in Lansdowne Station. The search for Lily and Jack continued through the night and will continue as necessary to support the missing persons investigation. Ground search and rescue teams and air services from the Civil Air Search and Rescue Association and the Department of Natural Resources are contributing assets. Search teams have been strategic and thorough in their work, says Inspector Mike Inglace, acting district policing officer. They're using a variety of tools and resources as they look for the children in the heavily wooded rural area. Anyone with information regarding the whereabouts of Jack and Lily who hasn't already spoken to police is asked to contact the Pictou County District RCMP. When the children were reported missing, a vulnerable missing persons alert was issued in Pictou County. As the children have not yet been located, a broadcast intrusive alert was issued today, at approximately 5:27 p.m. to Antigonish, Colchester, and Pictou counties. Investigators continue to ask that the public avoid the search area to allow trained searchers to do their work. Anyone with information is asked to contact Pictou County District RCMP at 902-485-4333. To remain anonymous, call Nova Scotia Crime Stoppers, toll-free, at 1-800-222-TIPS, 8477. Submit a secure web tip at www.crimestoppers.ns.ca, or use the P3 Tips app file hashtag 2025 to 580,096 source. May 4, 2025 Daniel Martel shared the following account with news outlets regarding the disappearance of Lily and Jack Sullivan. Early morning, Martel says Lily came into the room multiple times while Jack was likely playing in the kitchen. Shortly after, he believes the children quietly opened the back sliding door and went outside. Their boots were found beside the door. Moments later, Martel assumes they exited through the back fence and left the property. Upon realizing they were gone, he says he immediately got in his car and searched nearby dirt roads, culverts, rivers, and streams. Approximately 10 minutes later, Martel returned home and resumed the search on foot. 7:30 p.m. Update: the search continued throughout Sunday in Lansdowne. There are approximately 130 searchers during the day and dozens of more support staff. As you can see by the photos, a large-scale effort such as this does require leads in various roles. There were drone teams in the air as well and a helicopter. Additionally, there were 5 K9S teams. 3 of the K9S were with heavy urban search and rescue from Halifax as well as 1 GSAR K9 and 1 Royal Canadian Mounted Police in Nova Scotia K9. There were 10 search teams on the ground today. There are 12 search teams planned for tonight's 8 p.m. to 8 a.m. shift. Source: May 5, 2025 Stepfather was interviewed by Pictou Country RCMP for hours. RCMP state that there is no evidence of foul play or abduction at this time. An Amber Alert is not issued, a Vulnerable Persons Alert is broadcast locally. RCMP spokesperson CPL Carly McCann said no Amber Alert will be issued because there are specific requirements for issuing an Amber Alert, including the belief that a child has been abducted. There's no evidence of an abduction, she said. They are believed to have wandered. She added that they are not believed to be with an adult. It's going to be a multi-agency response and there are a variety of resources going out, McCann said. Focused Search initiated a report of a child's boot print found near the Sullivan residence leads search crews to concentrate efforts in that specific area. The community rallies in support volunteers, food donations, and logistical support pour in. May 6, 2025 items are found during the search, including a child's clothing and a water bottle. The children's stepfather, Daniel Martel, states these items do not belong to Lily or Jack, raising questions about their origin. The children's family urges the RCMP to expand the search across provincial borders and airports, suggesting a possible abduction. Children mother Brooks Mare has been staying with her mother in a nearby town since the children went missing. Source: The Royal Canadian Mounted Police, RCMP, deployed 4 remotely piloted aircraft systems, RPAS, operators overnight to aid in the search for Lily and Jack Sullivan. These RPAS, commonly referred to as drones, enhance nighttime search capabilities through forward-looking infrared, FLIR, technology. FLIR effectively detects thermal variations, guiding ground search teams to potential areas of interest. This RPAS operation complements the ongoing efforts of ground search and rescue, GSAR, teams and various support resources from across the province. Anyone with any potentially relevant information should immediately call police. Link. May 7, 2025 RCMP collect evidence. Officers arrive at the Sullivan residence and ask Daniel Martel to turn over his phone. Martel states that he complied and handed it over. Family declines to comment. When asked by reporters about the investigation, Cindy Murray, maternal grandmother, responded, "We're not discussing anything right now. The police told us not to." 2:11 p.m., the RCMP announced a scaling back of ground search operations, citing extensive coverage of the terrain and a lack of confirmed sightings. Press conference. Over 6 days, more than 160 trained volunteers participated daily in a large-scale effort that covered roughly 4 square kilometers of dense forest. Despite the use of helicopters, drones, infrared imaging, and police dogs, there have been no confirmed sightings of the missing children. Investigation continues, but fewer searchers are deployed. The Royal Canadian Mounted Police, RCMP, stated there is no indication of foul play or abduction, and they believe Lily and Jack likely wandered away from their home. As a result, an Amber Alert was not issued. Instead, alerts for vulnerable persons were circulated throughout Pictou County and surrounding areas. The RCMP emphasizes that the case remains open and active. Source: May 8, 2025, Lansdowne Station and Stellarton, Nova Scotia. Aerial and tech-assisted search. RCMP conduct an aerial search of the dense forest behind the Sullivan residence using a helicopter. Plainclothes investigators return to speak with Daniel Martel. He reports they are seeking to analyze any technology that could help identify phones that entered the property. CPS involvement. According to Martel's interview, his friend drove Martel to the Children's Protective Services, CPS, office in Stellarton, where he requested to see his 16-month-old daughter, Meadow. His request was denied. Martel's statement: "As of now, I can't be around Meadow. With the kids going missing, Children's Protective Services wants to keep a tight leash on everything." From earlier interviews with Daniel Martels. May 9, 2025, Lansdowne Station, Nova Scotia. Martel emphasizes cooperation. Daniel Martel states he has been fully cooperative with investigators. "I gave them everything from my phone. I asked for a lie detector test and drug tests. I'm the one trying to move this forward and give any information that I have." Tech and digital investigation. Martel says RCMP are examining the home's wireless router to determine who connected to the internet and when. Ongoing search efforts. A large RCMP truck was in the area. Daniel Martel said that RCMP searched Lansdowne Lake from the air via helicopter and also conducted an in-water search, but nothing was found. May 13, 2025 RCMP issued an update. 12:24 p.m., the Pictou County District RCMP, with the assistance of the Northeast Nova RCMP Major Crime Unit, continue to investigate the disappearance of Lily and Jack Sullivan. Source: "We're exploring all avenues in this missing persons investigation," says Staff Sergeant Curtis McKinnon, Pictou County District RCMP. "We have officers from multiple disciplines dedicated to finding Lily and Jack, including highly trained RCMP major crime and forensic investigators. To date, more than 180 tips have been received from the public, and are being followed up on. Officers have so far identified 35 people for formal interviews as part of the investigation, including community members and those closest to the children. On May 8 and 9, the RCMP's Underwater Recovery Team, URT, scoured bodies of water around Lansdowne Station. URT's two-day operation didn't uncover any evidence. We continue to work day and night on this file, says S/Sergeant McKinnon. Like all Nova Scotians, we want answers, and we want to know what happened to these children. On May 2, at approximately 10 a.m., Pictou County District RCMP received a report that Lily and Jack were missing. They were believed to have wandered away from their home on Gairloch RD. A multi-agency search and missing persons investigation began immediately. The search, which was scaled back to specific areas on May 7, has covered 5.5 square kilometers of heavily wooded, rural terrain in the Gairloch Road area. It has involved up to 160 trained volunteer searchers and many others, and tens of thousands of search hours. Efforts to locate Lily and Jack also included 2 vulnerable missing persons alerts. Anyone with information on the whereabouts of Lily and Jack is asked to contact Pictou County District RCMP at 902-485-4333. To remain anonymous, contact Nova Scotia Crime Stoppers, toll-free, at 1-800-222-TIPS, 8477. Submit a secure web tip at www.crimestoppers.ns.ca, or use the P3 Tips app. Our thoughts continue to be with the children's loved ones and the community at this difficult time. File hashtag 2025 to 583,775. May 16, 2025 RCMP update. Ground and air search efforts are planned for tomorrow, May 17, as the missing persons investigation into the disappearance of Lily and Jack Sullivan continues. Searchers from ground search and rescue teams, the Civil Air Search and Rescue Association, and the RCMP will focus on specific areas around Gairloch Road in an effort to locate Lily and Jack and advance the investigation. This search follows a large-scale air and ground search of 5.5 square kilometers of heavily wooded, rural terrain in the Gairloch Road area that began on May 2. On May 7, the search was scaled back in favor of more specific searches. On May 8 and 9, the RCMP's Underwater Recovery Team, URT, scoured bodies of water around Lansdowne Station. URT's two-day operation did not uncover evidence. We continue to ask that the public avoid the search area to allow trained searchers to do their work. Source: Search resumes. Warden Robert Parker says resuming the search of the 2 children, who went missing on May 2, is giving the community hope as they also look to find answers about what exactly took place. Source: May 17, 2025, 7:14 p.m., RCMP update. Ground and air search efforts were conducted today, May 17, in Pictou County as the missing persons investigation into the disappearance of Lily and Jack Sullivan continues. Source: More than 100 volunteer searchers from Colchester, Halifax, East Hants, Pictou County, and Strait Area Ground Search and Rescue and the Civil Air Search and Rescue Association focused on specific areas around Gairloch RD, in an effort to locate Lily and Jack and advance the RCMP investigation. The search was supported by Nova Scotia Public Safety Field Communications and as Emergency Preparedness Special Operations. This search follows a large-scale air and ground search that began on May 2, 2025 and was scaled back on May 7, 2025 in favor of more specific searches. On May 8 and 9, the RCMP's Underwater Recovery Team, URT, scoured bodies of water around Lansdowne Station. URT's two-day operation did not uncover evidence. The search will resume tomorrow, May 18. We continue to ask that the public avoid the search area to allow trained searchers to do their work. Source: May 18, 2025 search resumed for the missing siblings, Lily and Jack Sullivan. We continue to ask that the public avoid the search area to allow trained searchers to do their work. 5:56 p.m., RCMP update. Ground and air search efforts were conducted today, May 18, in Pictou County as the missing persons investigation into the disappearance of Lily and Jack Sullivan continues. Source: More than 115 volunteer searchers from Colchester, East Hants, Eastern Shore, Halifax, Muskodoboit Valley, Pictou County, Pugwash, Spring Hill, Strait Area, Valley, and West Hants Ground Search and Rescue and the Civil Air Search and Rescue Association focused on specific areas around Gairloch Road in an effort to locate Lily and Jack and advance the RCMP investigation. The search was supported by Nova Scotia Public Safety Field Communications and as Emergency Preparedness Special Operations. This search follows a large-scale air and ground search that began on May 2 and was scaled back on May 7 in favor of more specific searches. We extend our sincere appreciation to the search and rescue volunteers who have selflessly given up over 10,000 hours of their time since this search began, says S/Sergeant Curtis McKinnon, Pictou County District RCMP. Their tireless commitment in truly grueling conditions is appreciated by both the RCMP and the greater community. This weekend's search will be carefully reviewed and assessed by investigators and search managers to help in planning any further ground and air search efforts. File hashtag 2025 to 583,775 Source. May 25, 2025, 7:05 a.m. RCMP update. Over the past 3 weeks, several agencies have participated in ground and air searches in Lansdowne Station as part of the ongoing investigation into the disappearance of Lily and Jack Sullivan. The Nova Scotia RCMP thanks the hundreds of volunteers who've scoured the area for the two children. As RCMP officers continue to assess and follow up on all aspects of this missing persons file, investigators thank the many Nova Scotians who've contacted police with tips. Source. Anyone with information who hasn't yet spoken to officers is asked to call Pictou County District RCMP at 902-485-4333, or to remain anonymous, contact Nova Scotia Crime Stoppers, toll-free, at 1-800-222-TIPS, 8477. Source. May 28, 2025 RCMP. Update as the missing persons investigation into the disappearance of Lily and Jack Sullivan continues, the RCMP is appealing to the public for additional video footage. Investigators have collected hours of video from the areas surrounding Lansdowne Station. Based on the details we've gathered so far, we've confirmed that Lily and Jack were observed in public with family members on the afternoon of May 1, says Corporal Sandy Mathera, Northeast Nova RCMP Major Crime Unit. Source. We're now asking anyone who has dashcam footage or video along Gairloch Road between 12 p.m. on April 28 and 12 p.m. on May 2 to contact us. Investigators remain committed to exploring all possibilities surrounding the children's disappearance. To date, more than 355 tips have been received and are being followed up on. RCMP officers have also formally interviewed over 50 people, with more interviews planned in the coming days. Source. Public appeal for video footage. RCMP is asking anyone with dashcam or surveillance footage from Gairloch Road between April 28 at 12 p.m. and May 2 at 12 p.m. to come forward. Note, this suggests investigators believe this area and time frame are critical to understanding what happened to the children. Last confirmed sighting. Lily and Jack were seen in public with family members on May 1, 2025 in the afternoon, near Lansdowne Station. This is currently the last verified sighting. May 30, 2025 RCM update. Ground search efforts are planned for tomorrow, May 31, as the missing persons investigation into the disappearance of Lily and Jack Sullivan continues. In an effort to advance the ongoing investigation and locate Lily and Jack, searchers from ground search and rescue teams and the RCMP will focus on specific areas around Gairloch RD and the nearby pipeline trail, where a boot print was previously located. We continue to ask that the public avoid the search area to allow trained searchers to do their work. Any future searches will be determined based on the course of the investigation. File hashtag 2025 to 583,775 Source. Interview with stepfather Daniel Martel and warden Robert Parker. 1 month after Lily and Jack Sullivan disappeared without a trace in Nova Scotia, their stepfather remains hopeful. The siblings were reported missing from their home in Lansdowne Station on May 2. Police have not confirmed whether any evidence has been found regarding their whereabouts, but their stepfather says he refuses to give up hope. Source. June 1, 2025 RCM official update. Ground search efforts were underway today in the area of Gairloch Road, Lansdowne Station, as the missing persons investigation into the disappearance of Lily and Jack Sullivan continues. 78 trained searchers from 9 ground search and rescue organizations, including Colchester County, Pictou County, Halifax, Strait Area, East Hants, Eastern Shore, Muscodoboit Valley, Pugwash, and Eastern Shore, were engaged today in an effort to advance the ongoing investigation and locate Lily and Jack. Searchers continued to focus on specific areas around Gairloch Road and the nearby pipeline, where a boot print was previously located. A total of 5 square kilometers has now been grid searched. The search was supported by Nova Scotia Public Safety Field Communications and as Emergency Preparedness Special Operations. The Nova Scotia RCMP would like to thank all of the search and rescue volunteers who have dedicated more than 10,000 hours of their time, searching in very challenging conditions, to help find Lily and Jack and support the missing persons investigation. Any future searches will be determined based on the course of the investigation. File hashtag 2025 to 583,775 Source. Search and Rescue Team. Search and rescue are expanding into new areas that have not been searched, while also finalizing and cleaning up previously covered areas. The bootprint was found on the pipeline, which is why we're extending our search efforts down the pipeline. We don't know for sure it was from the children, but it's the only real thing we've had to go on thus far. So, we're just kind of investigating that further. These people have been out weekend after weekend and day after day putting themselves through this. The families are understanding and letting them come out, and we're actually starting to see some people that just physically and emotionally can't return to the search. At this point, RCMP say the investigation remains active and they urge anyone with information on the children's whereabouts to bring it forward. Source: June 2, 205 8:30 p.m. A community vigil was held in Stellarton, in front of the Royal Canadian Mounted Police in Nova Scotia Detachment. Organized by community to light the way home for Jack and Lily, about 100 people gathered to share the 1-month anniversary since the 2 children have gone missing. Prayers were offered by the organizers, and Staff Sergeant Curtis McKinnon of Pictou County District RCMP offered some words and thanked the community for their support during this very difficult time. Stuffies and candles were added by small children to the existing ones in the front of Stellarton Detachment. 2 balloons were lit and released into the air to guide Jack and Lily home. Source: June 4, 2025. Daniel Martel, the stepfather of 2 missing children in Nova Scotia's Pictou County, asked people to stop attacking their mother online as he tries to remain hopeful the siblings will be found safe. It doesn't get any easier. 1 month has passed. Martel: the grief is overwhelming and only made worse by the online speculation about what happened to 6-year-old Lily Sullivan and 4-year-old Jack Sullivan, especially when he has 1 child who still lives with her mother. Put your focus around Maleha and toward the kids. Don't attack Maleha because her mental health is going to be reflected on our daughter, so I don't want anyone attacking Maleha anymore. Martel attended the event, saying it brought out many emotions. They had some RCMP speakers and people from the community, and there was even one guy who drove all the way from Sheet Harbor to come up and show his respect, so I appreciate that. Source: the children's mother, Maleha Brooks Murray, did not attend the vigil. Pictou County Warden Robert Parker says he understands a vigil may seem premature to some, but he feels it shows how deeply the community cares about Lily and Jack. Source: current focus: though active searching has been scaled back, the investigation is very much ongoing. Future search efforts will be directed by evidence and developments in the investigation. Search and investigation progress. 355+ tips have been received and are being investigated. 50+ people interviewed so far, with more interviews planned. Extensive ground, aerial, and underwater searches were carried out from May 2 to May 7, then resumed on specific dates afterward, May 8, 9, 17, 18 and June 1, 2. Limited public disclosure. The RCMP acknowledges public concern and desire for information, but won't release further details right now to avoid compromising the investigation. Ground search efforts were underway today in the area of Gairloch Road, Lansdowne Station, as the missing persons investigation into the disappearance of Lily and Jack Sullivan continues. 78 trained searchers from 9 ground search and rescue organizations, including Colchester County, Pictou County, Halifax, Strait Area, East Hants, Eastern Shore, Muscodoboit Valley, Pugwash, and Eastern Shore, were engaged today in an effort to advance the ongoing investigation and locate Lily and Jack. Searchers continued to focus on specific areas around Gairloch Road and the nearby pipeline, where a boot print was previously located. A total of 5 square kilometers has now been grid searched. The search was supported by Nova Scotia Public Safety Field Communications and as Emergency Preparedness Special Operations. The Nova Scotia RCMP would like to thank all of the search and rescue volunteers who have dedicated more than 10,000 hours of their time, searching in very challenging conditions, to help find Lily and Jack and support the missing persons investigation. Any future searches will be determined based on the course of the investigation. File hashtag 2025 to 583,775. Anyone with information on the whereabouts of Lily and Jack, or who has video footage to share with police, is asked to call the Northeast Nova RCMP Major Crime Unit at 902-896-5060. To remain anonymous, contact Nova Scotia Crime Stoppers, toll-free, at 1-800-222-TIPS, 8477. Submit a secure web tip at www.crimestoppers.ns.ca.
Yeah. Everybody knows that I'm breaking down. Everybody knows I ain't faking now. Everybody knows my heart's vacant now. Yeah, she hates me now, I made mistakes but now I don't ever wanna be alone. I don't really ever feel at home. On my own, in the zone, that's the only way I know. Feeling low, about to blow back up. Here I won't ever let the doubt creep in. Gotta pop a couple more aspirin. I don't think I'll ever let you in. Easier to break it off best friends. I don't really understand myself. I don't really understand, need help. I don't wanna be left on the shelf. Couldn't even hear me if I yelled. It's so cold outside, I'm alone